Okay, so I'm not gonna make this video, but this is getting interesting, this revelation. There's a whole mob that hating someone in particular, which is Mr. Review Tech USA. Well, he brought it up to himself, right? And basically, every time there's a big event, or should I say, spat between him and other people he associated with, but that happens a lot if you watched the documentaries of Review Tech. He always just like be defensive and never admit wrong. Like he say, "Oh, like every time there's a spat, he's like, oh, I shouldn't do this. Now it's all public. We should have handled better privately. Next time it won't happen again." It happened again. The same shit. They had to publicly apologizing and saying, "Oh, we should not air our grievances on the internet. Air our dirty laundry. We won't do it again." It keeps repeating itself. Then his deranged fans like, yeah, he always like, you know, like admit his mistakes, unlike 90% of the other creators. Dude, he don't have to like admit his mistakes 24/7 if he could have just reacted better, right? If he could just self-control, like not have to get involved, like like lately just been worse. He's been spurging out, whatever this word is, and just go off at a tyrant, at a just throwing a tantrum at anybody that comes down to his way. Like whether it be good or bad criticism, he just can't handle it anymore. And since the documentary dropped, that was like right after he fired his long-term editor that worked with him. I don't know too much about it because I don't watch his content 24/7 religiously per se like some other people does, or should I say 90% of his used to be fans, or should I say fans. Now I know he had this channel, right, where he occasionally invites people like especially girls such as Lana. I think that's her name because it was plastered on the videos tab. And basically, they did uh, those Rich and Red podcast was about 6 or 7 episodes, and this was right before YouTube removed the dislike. I was able to see how much hate those episodes garnered, and just like he did with the Monday Matt podcast thing, like he did, was mentioned in one of the documentaries. He didn't continue to produce the show for various reasons, but we know that mostly it comes down to financing it and use money because some of those spats is like he's like, oh, I'm not gonna pay you, like the big cheese crusader thing from the documentary is like, oh, I'm never gonna pay you. Fuck you, fuck your money. It's my money, until it publicly evolved into a clusterfuck. They got, oh, sorry, I pay you now. Just like what he did with his editor, right? His first editor, right? Because he got 3 editors. Okay? First editor, he got fired. Supposedly, he bound to receive a computer, which he did receive a computer. I mean, that was another creator that basically Rich trying to send the computer to. He rejected, and that computer bounced off to his former editor, the first editor, and then allegedly there were whole thing about like viruses and stuff like that being installed, and his PayPal account being drained clean. So there's that. So it's just back and forth bickering between Rich and his former editor and all this stuff. And then his editor called in a special guest. Is his second editor, and I think it's just one of the mods from his Discord, and turned into like a second editor and fired twice. And then recently he made a tweet or he said something about his clip channel, or at least he found a place to lay his clips. And he said something about, oh, there wasn't even work for her to do the clips, or like the clip she did wasn't up to standard, didn't meet the expectations, like the money wise. And I was thinking, hey, he has a third editor. He's been hiring people. I've seen throughout the years his Twitter, right? Whether it be like hiring people, like every time he put out a tweet, like, I'm looking for someone that does logo design. I'm looking for someone that does web design. I'm looking for someone that does voiceover. I'm looking for someone that can do animations and logos. Like, people are not interested. Like, some people will like, yeah, I've did some work. Look here. Like, then most people are smart because they don't know the terms. They don't know if Rich is ever gonna pay them, or they're gonna be scammed. They're gonna be worked as a free labor. So that's why nobody cared. And he put himself out there as amazing voiceover announcer, whatever that means, and a great music producer, whatever that means, right? His music, I don't know. I heard one song here and there, but I'm not really following it. I don't know, man. I'm not a fan. Right? Even though I produce music small time, I think just comes down to like mastering, like comes down to like mixing. And his versions of music, I say versions because he takes samples of well produced music like a cappella and then put it on his shitty beats, right? And you call it a music, right? And the mixing is just like terrible, and the arrangement is like terrible, and the sound choices, like the instrument he uses, is terrible. I don't know what to say, but at least that from the one track, I have a sneak peek hearing because I don't hear the whole thing. I don't need to hear the whole thing. I don't want to hear the whole thing. I don't want to follow his music career and be inspired by him. No. But yeah, I mean, like, just hearing this, mixing is bad, sound choices is bad, arrangement is bad, and stealing a cappella is also bad. Don't do that, kids. If you're gonna, I don't care whether it be like you publishing it or not. Like, I mean, okay, like, there's bootlegs and stuff like that, right? Like, one of the guys he ripped the a cappella from actually responded saying, I don't mind like good remixes, but your remix is trash. Which is true, Rich. Your remix of this guy's, this hip hop artist's music is shit. He was right. I forgot which one because again I don't listen to a lot of underground hip hop. Like, I don't know much hip hop apart from some of the mainstream ones and the ones that I personally listen and discover. But yeah, I mean, like, he just do a terrible, like, mixing. And what happened to Review Tech, right? He used to review tech. Company used to send him stuff in and out. Like, he kept putting it off, and then when he actually do get tech, he's like, nah, I'm not gonna review it. I'm gonna say nasty things, and I'm gonna hold it off to like 40 8 hours later and then start the review. And then he don't even have a proper equipment. I think I saw him moving like offices and whatnot. And when he had these big moments, his big moments. But yeah, there's something else I want to talk about. Uh, he called people out. People call him out, but mostly people call him out, right? Instead of just like taking the L and admit that you were wrong, he have to respond it, like just like he did with numerous other people he worked with, right? He had to respond. He have to siphon through the profile, finding tweets, finding their likes. Now Twitter blocked the likes, so which is kind of bad and good. And then finding their profile picture and start criticizing it. Just finding shit that finding shit that they can criticize, right? All behind the scenes, he would like maybe get those people to align with him. Like if they can't win in the end, you're like, how about this? You be on my side and I start criticizing you or something like that, right? Which happens rarely, but mostly, he just doesn't like to be, to be wrong. He always has to defend himself, whether it be outrageous claims or what's not. He has to defend himself. Then after this whole like editor revelation, and then it just being on and off, like I thought, right? He said he's gonna get out of drama. He's gonna stop doing this. Even made a video teaching another creator what's not to do, right? Like the YouTube sum of rules, right? But then he himself don't even follow that rule, right? And then he's trying to teach others like what's not to do. Like if you're a content creator, like no one listens to you. And then after this whole spat between his editor, he garnered a lot of content creators that criticizes him, right? One example is Kino. Those guys are funny. Keemstar, obviously, I remember him back in the day when he used to do Drama Alert. It's like my sort of go-to show to watch YouTube content creators news per se. There's a whole bunch of other people just get involved here and there. So, yep. And they can even watch the documentary to get the gist of you just, like in a summary, if you will. So you're just done, man. You're done. Your viewership is down. And then recently, I think he made a fun out of a kid about suicide, right? And he just randomly deletes his Twitter, right? Deleting his Twitter is not a new thing. Whatever he can't escape his big moments, he deletes his Twitter, right? If he can't outlive other people, if other people, what is word, right? We got one word in Chinese. It's like, I don't know how to say in English, but it's basically like, okay, lack of a better word, right? So basically, I'm not gonna search it up now. I can be fucked. But basically, what it means is, if people can outrun him, okay, outrun him, and he loses, they get off Twitter and delete it. And if you're not deleting it, it will say, "Oh, I'll be back in a month, a week, whatever," right? And then now he deleted his Twitter after this suicide thing, and he came back because he said his friend or brother or whatever thought he was dead, and then he deleted his YouTube channel as well at this same time. I don't really care, like, to be honest. Like, people say, "Oh, you're deleting the history." Look at Internet Archive, what they've been through, right? They got hacked, and their history been tampered, and it's frustrating, And people saying this is passive income and what's not. Like, I don't really care enough to say like if he should or should not delete his YouTube channel. It's up to him. If he deletes, he deletes. If you don't, good luck, right? But I don't think so. Look at his like views and subscribers and what's not. Right? You can tell by that. And I think he should just delete his presence on the internet. But no, he have to respond. And lately his old mistress came to the show, which is one only Local Live by Keemstar, and he start spewing some stuff out, right? Start saying some wild shit. Whether you believe it or not, is from her own mouth. And she been dating Rich for 10 years, right? So that must be some truth to it, right? But no, Rich can't just let it go and just not respond, right? But he had to respond. That's the typical of him. Whatever there's like online internet shows like Local, there's a bunch of other shows in the past which is kind of like Local, where you have a bunch of people in one screen and do interviews and what's not. He had to respond, right? He had to respond after he went on those kind of shows. If people disagree with him, he will like cringe, and he will like he will find those guys cringe, but he will stay on the show. He's not gonna be like doing a rage quit, right? And then after that, he failed on the show, he would just make a response video calling those people out. Like, why you doing this? Right? After calling those people out, then he goes like, he never apologizes. And then those people, some of them, responds to him, to his ridiculous takes on those guys, right? Just because he have a bad aftertaste in his mouth after those shows. And then when his former editor went to one show, he's like, flip the shit, crack the shit. That's crazy, man. This guy, like, I don't know, man. Like, again, I'm not watching him. I have not watched him religiously. I've not followed him throughout the course of the year. I know all of this because it's well documented. And recently, it's more like coming out. Right? He coming out from the closet a lot more to show his true colors. Of course, those things are going to be documented by various other people and channels and what's not. So he just built a whole clusterfuck of people that coming after him, like the mobs. As I said in the beginning, there's a whole mob coming after him. And he said, oh, I can handle this. It means nothing, they're a piece of shit. He's calling them by names. You literally got a whole mob coming after you, right? Fuck. How are you gonna run from this? By deleting your Twitter again? Matter of fact, I think, again, you did delete your Twitter, right? Yeah, here we go. Your Twitter is gone. Your Twitter is gone again. So, yeah, your Twitter is gone. Let's go. Let's go to YouTube, right? But there's something else I want to talk about after all those revelations as well. So currently, if you search for Mr. ReviewTechUSA, all you get is those videos. Some of those I watched, so you see like a red bar, but I don't know why Trump in McDonald's is here. I know I watched it, but why? Like, why you put previously watched, right? It's not cool. It's never a cool thing. You see all these dislikes it garners from RTU streams, which is kind of like his DSP channel because he obsessed with that person ever since this guy has his accident. Uh, but he's been like basically basically just shitting on DSP for the last God knows when. But his whole channel is devoted on one person is bad. And I think why he so into streaming now is because it's easier. He don't have to buy all this tech. You don't have to put physical labor into editing, recording. Now that he fired his editor, he don't have to deal with any of the physical labor shit. He'd rather just sit on the chair 24/7 and talk to people, right? So you have to deal with this nonsense, BS, whatever. Oh, there's a lot of people like making videos. Even his former associates they used to work with made videos about him. Even the ones that see like something in him, supporting him, helping him, right, defend him, has came out and did the opposite. This is what Rich has built, right? This is what he does. Okay, I'm not sitting there just just making shit up, but this is crazy. This amount of revelation, the amount of big moments, you see in those documentaries, those big moments, and now this. Uh, I don't know what to say, man. If Mudahar made a video, not video, but if he talked about you, there's something. What's this guy?
Welcome back to the channel, guys. We're back with another one.
Okay, so yeah, it beat Eric, Local Life, Jay, Smash JT, the quartering. The quartering hasn't been like the quartering is a bit like me, hasn't been keeping on tabs. Uh, but yeah, and there's a bunch of other people, Snot Hogan, Smash JT again, do these streams. See all those people coming out from the woodworks, or all those people you may associate with in the past, has turned against you. It's just a whole mob coming against you. A whole fucking mob. I don't know what to say, guys. Like a whole mob just coming after him. That's crazy, man. That's just crazy. He's cooked. Whether or not I like to use the term cooked, but he is cooked. He cannot recover from this. It's like he's falling off the cliff. And all those people that tries to rescue him, it also fall down the cliff with him. He's done for. He's out of his mind. He's done for. And well, that's pretty much it for this video. And I shall see you guys soon. Peace.